So with the RAM situation that is coming up, that has effectively already started, there's a couple of Russian enthusiasts that are planning to do DIY DDR5 memory because building your own RAM is as easy as sourcing your own memory modules and soldering them on empty PCBs. So I highly doubt that this would be anything useful for most people. But there was somebody in the comments from where this link was posted, people mentioning that maybe they could use a faulty DDR RAM, unsolder the faulty chips, and switch them with working chips. So that would be an option. You know, you already have like the PCB fitted for computers with the right size and everything. But I'm very curious of how this will be presented right here. So let's have a quick read. An enterprising Russian enthusiast has taken to building his own memory amid the extreme price increases driven by a global shortage. As the world suffers from dried up memory inventories, some people are wondering when things will go back to normal, while others are looking towards exotic alternatives like SODIMM to UDIMM adapters. Now, a bunch of modders in Russia have taken matters into their own hands and are proposing a radically inventive solution: making your own RAM by assembling the relevant parts yourself. The idea comes from YouTuber Pro. This is a Telegram channel where a local enthusiast known as Vicon already performs VRAM upgrades for GPUs. So this is a relatively safe operation for him. So he's used to doing this type of things. I've read somebody who fixes GPUs, and it's pretty crazy. Doesn't seem like too hard, but I'm not sure. Maybe we should try it. So this is a relatively safe operation for him. According to him, empty RAM PCBs can be sourced from China for as little as 640 per DIMM. The memory chips themselves, though, that's a different challenge. Yep. So this is also something pretty unsettling I started to see, and most likely is going to happen throughout next year. You're gonna have manufacturers selling computers without the components. So you're gonna most likely have the option to buy a new computer and just not have a GPU inside, not have any RAM. If you already have those, good for you. Otherwise, if people are able to get them cheaper than what is sold on pre-built websites and component sourcing websites, you're gonna have a lot of people ordering, computers with missing parts. So this is pretty crazy. So I'm curious about that last part. So the so-called spot market for memory doesn't really exist at the moment. Spot market? Are you fucking kidding me? Is this like a precious metals language? This is pretty gross, man. This is pretty freaking gross. Since no manufacturer has the production capacity to make more RAM, and even if they did, they'd sell to better paying AI clients instead. Still, you can find SK Hynix and Samsung chips across Chinese marketplace if you search for the correct part numbers as shown The attached screenshot. What are you saying, bruh? That's gonna be unreadable. That's gonna be unreadable. Yesterday we talked with the guy from the post about memory, and he shared another solution to the issue. If I'm not sure, he equipped video cards with additional memory. Now he intends to assemble RAM models. For this, there is everything to facilitate the process. The Chinese sell boards with wiring for DDR5. It remains only to buy and solder the memory chip themselves, and it turns out that such a self-assembly is cheaper than in retail, but not much. But not much. A 15 gigabyte module, oh no, 16 most likely. A 16 gigabyte module with average characteristics will cost 12,000 rubles. The fuck? Damn. Damn. All right, so that means here that this is not worth it, right? If you have a proper stock and there's no shortage, this makes no sense, right? Because it's such a low difference to what they actually sell them for. But if there's a shortage and they're selling 60 gigabytes, 16, bro, that's bad. That's weird, man. Probably there is no point in selling such modules, but for those who are engaged in the assembly of assemblies, assembling RAM in this way will reduce the cost. Ah, bro. Okay, so if you were to offer the service to do that, maybe you could get like better deals on bigger numbers orders, right? So if they actually order thousands and thousands of these memory modules, they might get better prices. So, but what's the point of doing that for yourself? Another screenshot above is a confirmation that it is possible to assemble modules with low timings. This is the data of just such a module. By the way, used chips are still available, which further reduces the cost of self-assembly of memory modules. I don't know how used you can get, and just make sure that you're still good with the prices. Doesn't Oh man, this is gonna be a pretty gross situation. So effectively, if you were to assemble it for yourself, it's not that worth it. Oh, so here we have like the resume. It's not showing the price here. 32 gigs, 429. Bro, $400. So it would cost you about $300 to have 30 gigs of RAM, which is about 50 to 100 less than what they sell right here. So, I mean, is it really worth it to do that shit on your own and most likely mess up your PC boards? So you're gonna receive like this whole part here, and you're gonna have to weld or solder these chips on the boards. That is pointless. At this price, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, so yeah, maybe somebody who's gonna get into the business of selling bootleg RAM, that could work, but honestly, for a single person doing it on their own, doesn't look like it makes a lot of sense. Therefore, it doesn't make too much sense just yet to get the BGA rework station out and assemble your own DDR5. Things are expected to get worse though. So maybe these Russians are onto something. We were able to spot DDR5 ICs on AliExpress ourselves, and GDDR6X was even more common. So there's certainly a market for it. On the contrary, used kits can be used to salvage memory chips cheaply, or laptop memory can come in handy since it uses same ICs. These chips are desoldered from the donor board and reattached to the new PCB. We've actually we've actually seen something similar with DDR4 memory before, and at one point China's crackdown on smuggling had caused Rebol DRAM prices to drop further. But far from that now. Yeah. RAM prices are soaring globally, with some system integrators even offering options to bring your own RAM. So this is exactly what I was mentioning just a little earlier. Competition breeds innovation, goes the same, but desperation can often drive similar motivations, as is evident in the latest development in the ongoing memory crisis. I mean, it's still pretty interesting to know that there's something you could do, if you were stuck in a bad place. But I mean, how bad does it get for you to source these parts and build it yourself? All right.